It's our pleasure to welcome now David Rumbarger. He's the president and the CEO of the Community Development Foundation, the CDF, here in the area. David, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. It's good to be here.
So this is a big event, always special time here at Itawamba Community College. The Dr. Jay Allen, of course, he'll be on with us in the next segment. He's done a fantastic job here in interviewing these students. They're so impressive. It's so good to see that.
They really are. They got some excitement and energy that I'd love to get a little portion of.
Well, and you see that, and it kind of restores your faith in our young people, does it not?
Does. It absolutely
I mean, they've got it going on. They're so articulate. They're so impressive. They're so outgoing. You know, you worry about all these crazy electronic tools we have today and how that's kind of become the more common way to communicate, but you can't tell that by talking to these students.
Not the last couple you've had, for sure.
I guarantee you. So it's been fantastic. We appreciate being part of it. All right, tell us what the latest is going on with the Community Development Foundation.
Well, we've had a phenomenal year. I mean, it's been a tremendous run. Over $260 million invested by notable companies like Lee Bear, Amazon, Grammar, and Ashley Furniture. And so we're really, our motto is service after the sale. So love the groundbreakings, love the different announcements, but really, I mean, you land the company after that to make sure all the details of their location and development is smooth and going right. And there's always going to be hiccups.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's just nothing's going to go perfectly. And so we really manage the hiccups, and we're managing a few hiccups right now, but it's good.
Yeah.
And Lee Bear will have 500,000 square feet by end of 26, and about 170 employees, and it's a Swiss manufacturer. This is their North American, which would be North America, South America, and Central America distribution headquarters.
Okay.
And it will be kind of a milestone event for their company, and we've got other divisions. They've got 11, 12 other divisions that are looking at locations around this area because of that distribution center. So we've got 2 of them right now that we're working down to the short rows on, but fantastic privately held company. They make their own decisions. They're not necessarily worried about policy. They're in it for the long haul. They've got a real 20-mile mentality.
And that's what you want. You make a great point, too. You know, these companies, they know there are going to be glitches and hiccups. It's really not a matter of whether or not you can deliver the experience without any of those glitches and hiccups. It's about how you manage them and respond to them. Yeah,
exactly.
They know that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. And then how you engage public officials where you need to, engage even federal agencies like FAA, like the Corps of Engineers and others, to have those relationships to be able to smooth out those ruffles. And it really all is misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, you put something on paper, an engineer reads it remotely, and they take one take, and it really wasn't the take that we had intended when they put it that way. So it's working out those processes.
When you're dealing with these prospects, David, what's your sales pitch? What are you telling them?
Well, I ask them to look at the diversity. We have a tremendous diverse economy in this Northeast Mississippi area that's based on manufacturing. 1 out of every 5 people that you will meet in this area works in manufacturing.
Wow. Okay.
One of the highest percentages in the country for a corridor. Mm-hmm. And so first, if it's a manufacturing history, there's a manufacturing presence here. Secondly, they're going to be able to find the people that they want. Labor's the biggest issue for all these companies. And being able to find the folks just out of ICC and others that have the skills and abilities, that are willing to learn a trade, willing to get involved. I mean, these jobs, I've got some statistics here, and these jobs are paying upwards of $25 an hour. And when you annualize that, I mean, that's a $40,000 job starting out.
Yeah.
And it's only going up from there. It's absolutely good money. And we've got 11,000 in Lee County. In the Northeast Mississippi area, there's over 60,000 in manufacturing. So it's a real central to our state economy.
Do you feel like, David, that the president's policies, his focus on repatriating manufacturing, which is a key part of his tariff strategy, that you'll benefit from that?
That's a long game. Yeah, most of these decisions are planned 5 years out.
Yeah.
So we've got to get in that cycle of planning, and they can cut that cycle down to 24, 36 months if the tariff process works. And so far, it seems to be, we've got a lot of interest. So far, it seems to be working.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is the phone ringing?
Phone is ringing. Phone is ringing.
That's great.
Existing industries that are multinational and companies that are looking to make that first step, that may be in the Asian or European economies and want to make that first step. And, of course, we've had some great first step companies. Grammar Corporation, Liebherr is not a first step. They're in Virginia, but first step for production and distribution here. And other companies like Toyota that have multinational opportunities. So we make that case a lot.
Well, we've had some significant success in landing major investments across the state. Of course, I'm from Madison County, and we've been working that deal at AWS. And even though the investment itself is in Madison County, I really believe there's significant outgrowth that particular project and others of that scale, they serve as catalysts for growth elsewhere, even in the state. Because people take note, like, well, if it's good enough for them, what do we need to find out about what's going on in Mississippi then?
It's important for our economy to make that transition. When Toyota came in 2007, they brought the Toyota production system. It elevated every manufacturer in the area. AWS will elevate every company in the area. And, of course, we got a last-mile facility here, Amazon last-mile facility in Lee County. And so we got a little bit of that benefit, too.
Heck yeah. And they maintain they're going to invest even more. But I think the world is taking note of what's going on in Mississippi, and they're saying, well, again, these are major companies that are putting a lot of money into the state. Maybe we need to check it out. I think we'll all benefit from that.
We still have one major obstacle, though.
What's that?
We need to keep the people that we have, and we need to grow our cities and counties.
Completely agree.
I mean, you look at the negative growth population across the cities. We've lost a congressional seat in the last 20 years.
Yep.
This is something that is more quality of life based, and from the political standpoint, it's hard to attack that. It really happens at a local level, the cities and the counties. And so state policy is one thing, but cities and counties have to step up. They got to be better looking. They've got to have more amenities. They have to more accommodation of newcomers. We've done a lot in Tupelo just because that's been our focus for the last 10 or 15 years, but it needs to even go further. Jay Allen was telling me 90% of the graduates of ICC here will eventually, if not initially, come back here and spend their time in their professional careers locally.
So desperately needed. No doubt about it.
Desperately needed.
Yeah.
And so we need to grow. And part of that growth is multifaceted. It's child care, it's housing, it's ease of transportation, and it's quality jobs. In the past, we used to talk about the Mississippi discount. The companies could pay less in Mississippi for labor. Well, my companies are not paying less anymore. The hospital, the banks, the manufacturers are paying at par nationwide.
And should. We don't want them to pay less.
So here you've got 84% of the national average for cost of living. So that 16% needs to go into the employee's pocket and let them benefit from the cost of living here, not necessarily just the companies that benefit.
It should be an emphasized goal, should it not, David, that we focus on lifting our per capita income, our household income. We lag in that category, and we're only going to do that with economic growth.
It's funny you say that. I was going to bring you a statistic today for Lee County. In 2015, our per capita was $22,282. In 2025, it's $33,735. That's a 51.3 increase in 10 years. And that's our goal. I mean, our goal is better jobs and more frequent jobs there in Lee County. And so we're trying to raise that. Toyota was a big part of that.
Yeah. But everybody benefits when those numbers are moving up.
Absolutely.
Everybody does, including the cities and the counties themselves, because they have more disposable income. They're spending more of that money. They're able to acquire more expensive assets that are subject to property taxes and so forth. They're spending monies in the stores. They're generating sales taxes for the municipalities. This is the way to improve our state.
It's a capitalistic society economy.
Exactly
it
right.
really is. And we've gone away from that in many, many years past, and we really need to focus back on that.
I completely agree. Well, the good news there, I think you have to give some credit to the governor. He's hyper-focused on economic development, as a governor should be.
And we've had a string of good governors that have focused
exactly
on that.
Right. Governor Haley Barbour, Phil Bryant, all fantastic in the economic development category. You could argue that they kind of set the foundation for a lot of the success we're enjoying today.
Yeah, Governor Reeves has just come from Select USA, which is a large event in Washington, D.C., where a lot of international companies come in. And he spent time in the booth, met individuals, spoke at the event, went to the receptions. And I mean, he worked the room just like you and I would do, shaking hands. And
what he should be
people.
doing.
Exactly.
It's what our president's been doing over in the Middle East, which is so
got a good
refreshing
example,
to see.
doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what happens when you have, in his case, a business person disruptor that breaks through all those kind of traditional glass ceilings, if you will, is not afraid to do that.
Absolutely.
So, David, appreciate you coming on. David Rumbarger, he is the president and CEO of the Community Development Foundation in the area. Thanks a lot, David. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're stepping aside for a break. We're coming right back with the president of Itawamba Community College. It's Dr. Jay Al.